welcome once again. This is Frank Rock. This is the House of Orange Sports Channel coming back at you with the Tennessee versus Auburn baseball preview for this weekend. As Tennessee hits the road, they've been at home the last two weekends as they played. Of course, they played. Who did that? Of course, they come off their win against Georgia this past weekend. Took 2 of 3 from Ole Miss the weekend before. So each series so far in SEC play for Tennessee has gone to that rubber match on Sunday. Of course, they lost the first one, Alabama, and you still know, Tony Vitello's made comments about it. They look back on that one and they feel that, that's kind of where they feel they could have won that game. And Tony Vitello as much said there were some decisions made that maybe weren't the best ones. And I think leaving Snead in as long as they did on Sunday, but that goes to a lack of trust in their pitching staff as well. And it is what it is. They come back the next weekend. It's Ole Miss, one on Sunday. And then this past Sunday, man, you got run ruled on Friday night against Georgia. You got down big on Saturday before you come back and won big on Saturday. And then Sunday, you're going in. You don't even really know who's starting, but then Seacrest starts again, gives you 6 shutout innings. Snead comes in, finishes a great end to the weekend, shutting down one of the most prolific offenses in all college baseball. It's not going to get a whole lot easier this weekend in terms of offenses you face. Auburn, when I was looking last night and I did the video about Tennessee baseball, the statistics and by the numbers, a lot of the offensive categories I'm seeing Auburn's logo up in there. So I didn't take down where they rank statistically and everything, but we're going to kind of look into it here as well. Who is Auburn? All right. So Auburn right now, 17-11, 1-8 on the season. So I'm going to go through their schedule here as well. Let me just share the screen here and we'll go through it together as we look at it because again, I've not watched them, but I saw Vitello talking about it and said that, well, from a previous place I've been, Auburn's record is not indicative of who they are. So in their first 3 games, they swept Eastern Kentucky. They beat UAB, the Jacks College Baseball Classic. They beat Iowa, Wichita State, lost to number 10 Virginia. Okay, now you see they played UConn. They took 2 of 3 from UConn. 2 or 3 from Austin P. Lost one there. They lost. Okay, so here you go. They get an SEC play. Swept against Vanderbilt in Nashville. All right, each of those 11-1 got run ruled, 13-5, and then 9-6 on Sunday. Beat South Alabama. Come back the next weekend. This was at home. They lost 1-0, 6-5 to Arkansas, and then they won 8-6. All 3 close games at Alabama. Arkansas ranked number 1 coming in. Arkansas's pitching staff ranked basically number 1 in the nation right now. So this is not going to be an easy task for Tennessee. And of course, anytime you go on the road for SEC play, you're going to get a tough matchup. They run ruled Jacksonville State this past weekend or midweek. And then, as if it got easier, they went to College Station, played Texas A&M, and they were swept. They're 9-7, 12-8, 10-9. Auburn has started off and had a brutal start to this season. They beat UAB last night 10-4, and now Tennessee comes to town. That's a pretty brutal start to SEC play for this team. Playing Vanderbilt in Nashville, Arkansas comes to the Plains, and then at Texas A&M. That's 3 of your top 6 teams in the nation. So I don't know that their record is indicative of who they are. Auburn is 17-11, 1-8 SEC. They were picked to finish 5th in the SEC preseason. Oh, my goodness, look who you have. You have LSU, you have Arkansas. You have Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Auburn in there as well. Who am I forget? Texas A&M that's in there. It's just a brutal conference, a brutal division, and Alabama as well. We've seen Alabama there. So that's nothing to hang your hat on being 5th in the preseason. But Auburn, I know there were some polls Auburn was ranked in as well, but just look at their stats. Okay, I want to go to their stats here as well. So their main guys and I'll kind of share this with you. We'll go through that as well. Looking at who they are, and Auburn has some good baseball players, obviously. So their main guy, Cooper McMurray, here you see 371, 11 home runs, 42 RBIs. Ike Irish, who was preseason All SEC selection, 363, 10 home runs, 45. Mason Mainers, 340, 6 home runs, 14 RBIs. So he's obviously not a lot of guys getting on when he's hitting his home runs. Cooper Weiss, this is a guy that stands out to me. 319, 3 home runs, 23 RBIs. Right here, if you see 24 stolen bases in 27 attempts. All right. And then you start getting into, your averages start creeping down a little bit. You start getting into some guys starting. So Auburn's average on the year, they're at 286. Now, I sat down last night and I put together my video and the stats for Tennessee. So comparing that to Tennessee is 332 batting average, number one in the SEC on the season. Auburn in home runs, they have 53 in comparison to Tennessee. Tennessee has 73. They're second in the conference to Georgia right there. So Auburn is a bit behind on that. Now, let's look over here a bit at the pitching. This is what interests me. Now go to the pitching as well. As you see some of these ERAs here on the left. Now, one of them in the preview for this week, tomorrow night's matchup is listed as A.J. Causey versus Dylan Watts. So Dylan Watts for Auburn. If we go down and look at him here, 2.77 ERA, 1.23 whip. That's walks and hits per 9 innings pitch. You add those, divide them by the innings pitch. So 0-0, 8 appearances. No games started up to this point. 1 save, 13 innings. So he is slated to start tomorrow night. Auburn's looking to switch it up a little bit on the year. He's given up 15 hits and 13 innings, 7 runs, 4 earned, 15 strikeouts in 13 innings, no home runs allowed, 2 opponents, 288 batting average. So Auburn's pitching staff on the year has a 5.19 ERA. You compare that with Tennessee. Tennessee's at 3.73 on the year. I'm seeing advantages for Tennessee, and that one big advantage I'm seeing for them is Auburn's pitching. 5.19 ERA. And we'll go back and look at Auburn's pitching again. Other guys that may stand out to me, just Chase Alsop, 33 and a third inning, 7.02 ERA. He has the most innings pitched. These ERAs for Auburn are pretty horrific, to be honest with you. And with Tennessee ranking basically as one of the top offenses in the entire country, all their metrics, all their statistics, as low as they rank in walks, are 42nd. Well, in batting average, doubles, hits, home runs, OBP, runs, scoring, slugging percentage, and OPS, they're ranked within the top 12 in all these. And all these statistics, all these metrics are top 4 in the SEC. I like Tennessee's chances, even with Billy Amick out. Tony Vitello pretty much confirmed Amick's probably going to be out again this weekend, but he said he will make the trip. But, wouldn't expect to see him play. So he mentioned Alex Perry as a guy he wanted to see swing the bat some. I'm wondering if they go Curley. Again, my lineup of him, especially the way they end up going the end of the weekends, Curley at short, Bargo at third. And then you go in the outfield because Reese Chapman's swinging a red-hot bat. Hunter Ensley's swinging a better bat. Robin Villanueve's hit and miss. Robin Villanueve's got to learn how to hit a breaking ball. That's his problem. He's kind of like Blake Burke was last year. And look at Blake Burke now. Blake Burke's the best hitter on this team. And Blake Burke stands to make history this weekend. He's going to have a good chance against this Auburn pitching staff to make history and become Tennessee's all-time home run leader. But so there's kind of your matchup on that. For Tennessee on Saturday, Drew Beam's listed. Auburn is to be determined on Saturday, and both teams are listed as to be determined for Sunday. You got to think Tennessee goes Xander Sechrist again after his impressive outing last week against one of the best offenses in the nation in Georgia. Georgia ranked first in home runs and slugging percentage. And then they come in after the amount of runs Georgia had scored in the first 2 games, and Sechrist and Snead combined. That was a very, very big positive for this team to end that weekend. And now, the pollsters were impressed by it. They're pretty much consensus top 5 in all the polls right now. This is a good Tennessee baseball team. Yeah, we talk about walks, we talk about strikeouts. I don't know where they rank in terms of their strikeouts in their order, but in terms of walks, they actually don't rank that bad in the nation. 15th in walks in the nation. We think they're bad. They're not. There's teams a whole lot worse. Third in SEC, and there's a lot of really good pitching staffs in the SEC as well. So, it could always be worse. We're going on about where they need to be better at. Statistic wise, in the nation and the SEC, this is still one of the best pitching staffs in the entire country. It may be middle of the pack in the SEC, but if you go to NCAA.com and you look at the statistics for pitching, you're going to see a lot of SEC teams. You're going to see a lot of Arkansas, LSU, South Carolina, Texas A&M. Just off of the top of my head, those teams are listed up there as well. But will they sweep? I don't know. I think you keep with the story you've gone the last couple weekends. If you go down there and take 2 out of 3, that's a good weekend, because I think this is a decent Auburn team that's better than the record indicates. Maybe they've been the product of a pretty brutal schedule to start the season. Obviously, it doesn't get a whole lot easier this weekend with the way their pitching's been, and one of the top offenses in the nation, and probably the top offense in the SEC overall coming in. But I'll have recaps all weekend long for you. Next weekend against LSU Friday night, I'm going to go live. We're going to go live and test this thing out again. Debated it this weekend, but it's WrestleMania weekend, and old Frank Rock is going to be watching WrestleMania Saturday and Sunday night on here. But as always, thank you for tuning in. Dropped a video just a few minutes ago, not too long ago, about Freddie Dillon has hit the portal for Tennessee basketball. Dropped one a couple nights ago talking about possible roster movement, so I hope you'll check that out as well. Released a video last night talking about Tennessee baseball statistics, Tennessee baseball by the numbers, and I alluded to a lot of that in this video as well. But, I hope you guys have a great Thursday. Have a great Friday. My name's Frank Rock, House of Orange Sports Channel. Make sure you like, that you share. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. It is free. There's no cost for that. Last but not least, as always, go Vols.